Well, greetings, and welcome to day two of the Women and Youth Civility Conference. We are here. I hope that you were able to tune in last night for our kickoff when we started the conference with civility. We had three amazing young ladies, all teenagers, youth leaders here from the U.S., actually all from New Jersey. Yeah. And they started the conference off with civility. When I say amazing, if you haven't had the opportunity to watch, you want to go back, watch day one of the conference with Tamia, Danielle, Simone, and Caitlin. You know, I said Danielle, and Danielle is Simone's mother. And she immediately comes to my mind when I think about Simone. But listen, amazing way to kick off the conference, having, of course, you guys know, real talk, real dialogue, and real conversation with these amazing girls. So tonight will be just, if not even better. We are talking about community. And of course, I am Dr. Anana Pfeiffer Home. I am your woman and youth civility practitioner. And this conference, we are really bringing young people. We have mostly, girls, because I'm certainly passionate about working and empowering girls with Blessed Girls Global. But even for this conference, I called it Blessed Girls and Friends, because we have invited some friends along, and we do have a few guys that will be tuning in as well. So it's going to be a great experience, and we're so glad that you are here. And you know what we do. We like, we comment, we share. I certainly want you to listen. Show my guests some love. Some of these ladies are actually speaking on this global platform for the first time. Can you believe it? And for others, we do have some experience and some seasoned speakers and experts, but each of them are so powerful. They are so talented, and they are so passionate about whichever, some even all four C's, but whatever the C in the topic is that we are discussing each and every night. So I'm excited. I want to make sure that you join in the conversation. You text someone, let them know it's time to tune in. And even if you know a young lady, you know a teenager, a early teen that needs to get some inspiration, right? Learn something. And this is a great opportunity for you to share this broadcast with them. Can you do that? Make sure you share this broadcast throughout all of your contacts, your network, because tonight we're talking about community. And listen, when we talk about community, and here's the thing, we have four C's that we focus on. Number one is civility. That was night one, civility, right? Number two is community. So it is day two, and we're talking about community. And number three, we talk about creativity. And number four is climate change. So this week, we're going to have a good time. We're going to learn some things, right? And I tell you, the overall theme is that we're going to listen, right? And we're going to learn. And at the end is we're going to live civility. All right. So we are here to listen. And I tell you, the thing about talking to young girls and talking to the youth, a lot of times, even last night, they don't feel like they're being heard, or they don't have the opportunity to speak, what's really on their heart, what's on their mind, and what they're experiencing. And this conference, this platform is allowing them to do just that. Okay, so you ready? Are you ready? Yeah, because tonight is community. Now I just want to, I'm going to introduce our speakers for tonight. And we had Tamia, who was our guest speaker last night, but she's back again. She is back again to serve and to help as a moderator. So we're super excited to have Tamia Lewis Saint. She is here out of New Jersey. She'll be up on the screen. And listen, tonight is community. Now, I just want to speak to you a bit about community, because, we are in the middle of, or hopefully we're on our way out of a pandemic. right? Those of us that are here, even in the US and North America, but even all around the world, we know some of the crippling effects of this pandemic of COVID-19, correct? But here tonight, we're talking about community. And here's what a community is. Community is a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. All right. So as we talk tonight, I want you to think about that. And here's another definition of community, because it can also be a feeling of fellowship with others, having a common attitude, interests, and goals. Okay. So when we think about community, it's not just necessarily where you live. Okay. It's not just who lives next to you, who lives across the street, where you go to school, but then there's also communities of interest, of goals, correct? And the thing that I found, that there's actually like 4 different types of community, right? And it's so interesting, because in what's going on around the globe, we will get to see how it really does play a part in what's going on globally, right? So there's 4 types of community. Number 1 is the shared interest or passion. Okay. And even with that, we have 2 girls that have never met each other, and they're on the line today, and they both are Girl Scouts. So they have a shared interest, right? They actually share a community simply because of their interest and their passion. The other one is action. Action, that's a form of community where people come together to make change. And I know for us here in North America, and I think even around the globe in various areas, right, that we are coming together to make change. We are fighting racial injustice, right? We are fighting for equality around the world. And guess what? That's a part of a community. You may not have met people, right? But the fact that we all are fighting, we're saying enough is enough. Caitlin Black talked about Black Lives Matter. That is our community, even though you may not have met each other. If you see the protests going on all around the United States and in London and various places around the world, right? This is a part of a community. And we come together to take action and make change. Another way, you know, again, I'm in North America, it's election time. It's time to vote. Now, you may not know me. I don't live where you're at. But listen, as a community of citizens, we need to vote. I just had to do that tonight. We need to vote. We're talking community. We need to get out and vote. And let your voice be heard and vote for your, of course, the larger level of the presidency, but your local government, everything. It's time to vote. Okay, so that's the second one. The third one is the type of community is the same practice, the same profession, and perhaps the same religion. So you have a community of people that, because of your profession, you may be an accountant, you may be a teacher. There are a community just for you, right? Because of what you do, the religion that you practice, that's a community, right? And the last thing is the circumstance. You can have a community simply because of the circumstance. You know how we have people that are breast cancer survivors? That's a community, right? Also in the month of October, we celebrate and we raise awareness, not celebrate, my bad, but we actually raise awareness to domestic violence, right? And that's in the month of October. That's a community of people who have, lived through or maybe even living in domestic violence. So y'all know, I'm always going to put some current stuff in here and intertwine it, but understand that community is a lot bigger than what you think. Right? It's a lot bigger than just where you live, where you go to school, where you shop. It is bigger. And I'm so excited that tonight on a global platform that we can bring people together to talk about community. All right. So that's my spiel. Yes. Thank you. I see Ramonda. She's here. She said #vote. Okay. I just had to do it. All right. Y'all know I can get on some other stuff with the news and the current things, but it's time to vote. As a community, I am encouraging you, imploring you all to vote. So thanks for chiming in, Ramonda. That's one of the moms here. Alice, thank you for chiming in. That's my sis, Ava. We're so happy that you can be here with us tonight. All right, so we're going to get right into it. So have you liked, have you commented, and have you shared this video? Are you sharing this broadcast tonight? Yeah, thumbs up. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, so let's get right in. First, I want to bring my co-host today, if you will. You guys met her last night. She is phenomenal. She hails from the great state of New Jersey. She is a high schooler. I want to say 11th grade. I think I'm right. I'm not even doing her bio because I think I just know her like that tonight, right? She is a blessed girl. She is a avid dancer. She is an honor society student. She is amazing. She's beautiful. But the thing about it, and I shared it last night, she really is one citizen that practices civility. She has such a humble, loving heart. And I am glad that I actually have the opportunity to share this platform with Tamia. How are you, Tamia?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Good to see you. I see your lip gloss is popping. Your lip gloss is popping. So, are we excited? We are talking community tonight.
Yes, very
Yes,
excited.
yes. And we have some amazing guests. So, I'm going to give a quick intro. You've had the opportunity to meet Folile and Aaliyah. In the backgrounds, we've worked with Folile. I want to say in July, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. She's phenomenal. So now, let me talk to you about Folile first, guys. Okay, so Folile Manili, and I hope I'm sounding right. I hate to jack people's names up. She is a missionary and a media professional. She holds a bachelor's degree of arts in film production from the University of Cape Town. Right? Her and her husband, they have founded a production company, right, since 2015. Folile is passionate about social development and finding ways to use media and ministry as a way to reach out and build the youth. All right. In January 2016, she was a production assistant on the international film Girl in the Mirror, which highlighted human trafficking. That's a whole nother topic, but that's really, really powerful. All right. Not too many people really talking about that. In December 2016, she pioneered the Basics of Filmmaking seminar that is currently registered with the University of the Nations in Hawaii. This is a 6-week program designed to bridge the gap. We're going to talk about that today between youth ages 18 to 30. And this is from disadvantaged areas and the expensive media industry, right? She's done some amazing things. I tell you, between different films and assisted production, all of that good stuff. She is also a public speaker, right? She has spoken on various platforms. She has been invited to the Women's Day event and 16 Days of Activism, which launches for the Transnet, South Africa's port official. In 2020, she was also in talks to lecture a seminar on script writing at the Nelson Mandela Bay University in Port Elizabeth, of course, which was prior to COVID-19 restrictions. So I'm just going to bring Folile up to the screen just so you guys can just say hello to her. She hails from, now she's going to have to get this right for me because Swaziland is what I know, but I know that's a new name, right? So welcome, Folile. How are you this nighttime for you? Definitely, it's afternoon for us. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Nana. Good afternoon to the girls, Tamia and Leah. It's definitely nighttime for us here, around 11 p.m.
Yes.
And I think you got the pronunciation right. It's the Kingdom of Eswatini,
So it's
formerly known as the
Kingdom of Eswatini.
Yes.
All right, you got that, Tamia?
Yes.
Tamia. You'll get this. All right, and where is Eswatini located in the world?
Okay, it's in the southern part of Africa.
Okay.
So if you're familiar with South Africa, we're actually one of the countries that share border with South Africa and Mozambique as well. So it's on the southern part of Africa. Yes.
Very, very good. Well, we thank you so much. You are 6 hours ahead of us. So the fact that you are here, you are sacrificing your time to hang out with us, right, Tamia?
Yes.
We are super excited that you're here and cannot wait to hear from you tonight as we talk about community.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Dr. Nana, for the platform. Thank you to BlessedGirls and to also I Change Nations. I'm very excited about our conversation. I really enjoyed the girls last night as well. Tamia spoke so wonderfully. It was amazing to see young girls so powerful and strong and, sure about their vision and mission in life.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, so stay put for Lele. We'll be right back, okay?
Okay,
All
no
right.
problem.
All right, all right. So next up, I have the pleasure. She is hailing from, you know where she's hailing from? She's hailing from Kansas, the USA. Aaliyah Smith. She is currently a sophomore in high school. Aaliyah is working on her Girl Scout Gold Award in Kenya, Africa. She has a true passion for helping and serving others. Aaliyah is a member of the high school dance team, the Junior ROTC, Teen Leadership Circle, and the Black Student Union and Latinas United. Aaliyah has hundreds of volunteer hours and she's active in her community. She likes shopping. I know that's right, Aaliyah.
Yeah.
She likes traveling and spending time with her family and friends when possible, because between doing those volunteer hours and Girl Scout, yeah, you do a lot. So welcome to the conference, Aaliyah. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
You're good. All right. Well, we're so happy that you're here, and we are going to get right into it. Tamia,
Yes.
it's your moderator. She is the facilitator, and I'm gonna let you two girls just chat it up, and you guys will kick it off. All right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'm going. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tamia. Do what you do, sis.
So my first two questions for you are, what does community mean to you, and how does it impact your life?
Well, community is a combination of things like groups we may choose to join, the neighborhoods we may live in, and of course, people. I am personally a part of several communities, some of them much longer than others. For instance, the church I attend, I have attended since birth. Girl Scouts, I have been in for about 8.5 years. Now, some of the other groups like Black Student Union, Latinas United, and Teen Leadership Circle, I've only been in for 2 years. Even though the length of time varies, every group is important to me, and I feel like I belong.
Nice, thank you.
Community impacts my life because it has taught me how to be a better person over the years. I do a lot of volunteer work, and I've been able to collaborate with many different groups and organizations. I have met so many different people, like the governor of Kansas when I was a page for the Senate, to the first Black female astronaut, Mae Jemison. By volunteering at the Department of Veterans Affairs, I have been able to serve heroes and, of course, some sheroes. My community involvement has put me in many different places and given me so many opportunities, including my Girl Scout Gold Award project, which is taking place right now in Kenya, Africa. I'm getting a chance to expand my community by empowering young women and mothers. I help them learn a trade, increase education, and build wealth for families.
That was really nice, thank you. Do you want to elaborate more on how you felt when you met these historic figures that you talked about?
I met the governor of Kansas when I was a page for the Senate, and she was really nice. I went to she was being interviewed, and that's when I met Mae Jemison. She talked about what it was like to be the first Black astronaut that was a female, and I thought that was pretty cool and interesting.
Yes, it is. Are you ready for the next question?
Yes, I am.
How has the pandemic affected your community?
The pandemic has affected everything in my life. I've not been able to travel. The activities that I usually am a part of face-to-face, it has been difficult. All of my travel plans have been canceled. Me and my mother had a mother-daughter cruise, and that has been canceled as well. Spending time with my extended family and friends has been canceled. And in some of the communities where we would regularly meet face to face, we now meet on Zoom meetings. The places I usually volunteer at are being cautious and they do not allow anyone under the age of 18 into their facilities. I never thought that I would miss going back to school, but I'm ready to go back. I was okay with it being a week away, but it's been 10 months.
I could agree on that too. For school, I wish I would go back now. It's like you would never expect for me to say I want to go back to school, but virtual, it changed a lot.
Yes.
And when you talked about traveling, what places were you going to go to?
I was going to go to Jamaica, and we were just gonna travel around Jamaica on the cruise ship.
Nice.
And just do different tourist activities.
Nice. Are you ready for your next question?
Yes, I am.
What do you feel is missing from today's culture, and how can you tell the signs of this defect?
I feel like many things are missing from today's culture, but if I had to pick one, I would pick empathy. There's a lot of judging going around between individuals and between different groups. I feel that if people would just take the time to consider what other people are going through, that we may be able to live as one. There has been a lot of racial tension and feelings over the past several months, and a lot of Blacks and minorities are speaking out. What I notice is other races who aren't experiencing racism overlook it, deny it, or say things like, "You'll just get over it." The way they feel and act makes it worse because they are not considering how the minorities feel.
Thank you. I really liked your point on how we have to understand each other and figure out, because we don't know what other people are going through. And if we do that, we can come together as one. I think that's a strong point that a lot of people don't understand. And that's why everyone's always judging, is so confused all the time. So your next question, how can we bridge the gap and learn from each other?
Personally, I feel that one of the misconceptions is our elders not considering social.
Right, we're here. We're here. So I know she'll be back. Let's see where Aaliyah is. But you know what? The first thing that I got that she said was so key. And even watching you guys just talk, you really have never met in person, right? But this is a community, right? Where you guys
Yes.
have come together. You both are teens, right? You both here she is, she's back. You both dancers, you both are Girl Scouts, and
Yeah.
I don't know what else have you found in common just of hearing Aaliyah share what she shared so far tonight.
Just her mindset and the way we think, because there are a lot of people and youth my age that don't have the strong mindset of trying to reconsider people's thoughts and just the maturity of our minds. So that is where we connect as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She's back, and I feel like you guys definitely have like this kindred spirit, where you guys are soft spoken, very intelligent though, very intentional, right? I'm sure I know Ramonda, who is actually Aaliyah's mom, can attest to that. But we're very smart and impactful, and I think that even when we talk about what's going on in the world, Aaliyah touched on some of the racial tension and the injustices and things that are happening, right? And that's one thing that we talk, in the beginning, I talked about being a community that takes action, right? And taking action to make change, right? And so I wanted, because y'all gave me a break. So Aaliyah talked about empathy, right? And not judging, right? And being able to live as one, even in regards to race. And I think that's really key. And I want the two of you, I'm gonna back out. I know I'm in the middle, but if we just spend maybe another 2 or 3 minutes on that, because we need to certainly hear from you. I think, again, all the folks that are watching, the friends, the family, you just never know. And if you guys can just take a minute and have a quick another dialogue in regards to that judging, that is so key when it comes to young girls, right? Young women, and of course, even women my age, right? That we will judge. Look at her hair. Look at them shoes. What's she doing? Like, y'all know what happens, right? But I wanna hear from you. How can we change that? What can we do to change the narrative of teenagers? You know, that bullying and hating on one another. What are some ideas and some things that you guys think that we can do to change that and shift that from your culture and your generation, if you will? Who wants to go first?
I'll let Aaliyah go first since this is her panel.
Okay, come on, Aaliyah, talk to us. I hope she's good.
Can you repeat the question? You're kind of breaking up.
Okay, sorry about that. So what do you think that we can do, or what can you guys do, or changes that you would like to see in regards to your community of teenage girls, to where we can have this empathy that you spoke about, right? And not really judge one another? Or give an example maybe of what times when you know, as a leader, even as a Girl Scout, where you had to step up and say, hey, we're not doing that. That's not what we're going to do. Like, we're going to change this and do something different. And how you were able to show empathy, or an example of someone else doing something for that. If you can give us a picture in that regard of what we can do as a community.
I feel that as a community, if we just all decide to work together and help each other and care for each other, even when times are rough, we might be able to have this empathy.
Good. So working together and caring for each other, and even during the pandemic, I think that's absolutely key. And we saw so many examples of youth stepping up, getting masks and giving out different things and raising. I saw a child that a teenager, I don't even know if he was maybe a preteen, that started collecting and getting donations for diapers, right? For babies and things like that. So I think that the thing, even with this pandemic, is to learn how powerful you really are, right? And the things that you can do, again, in your community, even at your age, right? That if you step up and take the lead, you can have impact. And that's the thing, is finding what you can do, right? To take action, and again, finding that community. Tamia, anything you want to add to that?
Yes, I wanted to share in the community part where you said if we can figure out things our age. Like, for example, during February, right in the beginning of quarantine, around George Floyd's death and Breonna Taylor's murder, all around that is when I actually went in protest for Black Lives Matter. So there is stuff we can do at our age in our community. You always just have to look and find opportunities.
Absolutely. That is so key. And I know that you guys can't vote necessarily. You're not old enough to vote. I was thinking about an idea of, just sharing the information about where to vote. Where are the boxes at, right? Maybe just doing a quick live and letting people know, or maybe finding about the elderly people in your community. How are they doing? How are they getting there? Do they know the information? And if there's any changes, you're being aware and being a voice, for your community is definitely key. I was on a call last night and we were talking about ways that we can even get you guys involved, even in voting. Maybe if it's passing out water, maybe if it's helping people, walk to the voting place or get there. There are things that I really hope that you understand how powerful you really are, even right now. Right. So that's my spiel. All right. I'm going now. Tamia, you go ahead and close this out with Aaliyah and I'll be back.
So for the final question, what do you think we can do to bridge the gap and learn from each other?
Personally, I feel like one of the misconceptions is our elders not considering social media as a necessary platform. I think it's so essential to have social media because it's how the youth and young adults keep up with current events, keep up with each other, and also it's a platform to learn and ideas or personal initiatives. I have a personal initiative to promote my Girl Scout Gold Award called the Community Poultry Project. I've only been able to reach people by Facebook, email, and of course, standard text messaging. I believe we can bridge the gap between adults and youth about the importance of social media if adults would explain their concerns on social media, the rules for social media, and instead of giving a flat out no or I said so answers. Social media is one of the most important communities we have at this time. This is proven by how we have been forced to use social media to handle business over the past several months. For instance, church, work, school, and other meetings.
Yes, thank you. I can totally agree with the business part because I've been seeing on my feed on social media that a lot of entrepreneurs are studying, and a lot of young entrepreneurs our age, they're coming with their own businesses, hair care, and a lot of stuff. What have you done also with social media and getting the word out?
I have posted about my community poultry project and created a Facebook page for it where I post updates on the project and how it's going, and we made videos to show the donors that we care about their donations and that we're very thankful that they're helping this project.
Nice. Thank you. That was all the questions I had. Dr. Nana, back to you.
I'm back. I'm back, ladies. Listen, this was so great. I'm so excited just to see the two of you, on this platform, just kicking it, just really talking and sharing from your perspective. And I feel like even what we talked about last night with you all, talking about the bridging the gap and the parents and the children getting to understand, the differences, but Communication was one of the number one things that you guys echoed. And I think that's even what Aaliyah is saying, right? We might not want you on social media. We're really trying to protect you, right? But if we can really communicate with you why we're concerned, and then you communicate back to us what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, right? I think that will, again, open up for better understanding for all of us, right? So I think that Aaliyah definitely touched on that in regards to, the working together and using social media and the benefits of it, right? How she's using that for her outreach, right? And then being able to connect with others. So I think that certainly is key. And it's always about communication. So this was certainly a good dialogue. So anything else you guys want to share before we move on to the next guest? I think we're good. All right. Well, listen, Aaliyah, if you stand by, we are going to bring up our next guest, but I will have you back for just some closing remarks, okay? All right, I think
Yes.
she's good to go. All right, good stuff. All right, so Tamia, how about that?
That was nice.
That was nice. Wait a minute, and you know what? We're definitely going to have Aaliyah. I brought you back up. Aaliyah, can you just explain your project a bit more? I want to make sure that folks that are listening have a full grasp of your project and how they can connect and support you. You know what? Maybe we'll have you back for closing remarks. We'll have you come back, Aaliyah, then, okay? We'll definitely have Aaliyah come back. She has an amazing project, and I feel like everyone needs to know about it, and just with a little bit, how much it can support and go a long way. And I want to tell you, Tamia, this is something really interesting because Aaliyah is doing work. She's here in North America. Of course, she is part of Girl Scouts, but one of her projects is dealing with girls in Kenya, right? And the last time we had Soyam Shah, which was in Kenya, and she shared a lot, and she wanted even to work more with you and with Blessed Girls. So just to know about that connection. But the other thing is Folile, who is, she's more down in South Africa, right? And the thing is, Folile was here in New Jersey. And she came to America to work and to help raise awareness on human trafficking. So you see how it goes both ways? Like,
Yes.
believe it or not, African people, right, leaders will come to the U.S. to help, and then we have our American citizens that will actually go. So this is really cool. It's really cool. So
Yes.
I'm going to step back, and we're going to bring Folile up, and I'll be back. But you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Tamia.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks. And yourself?
I'm okay, thank you. So are you ready for the first two questions?
Wonderful.
What does community mean to you, and how does community impact your life?
Okay, so for me, when I think about community, it is not just geographic location. Community is people. In Swazi culture, we define community by a group of people who reside on a particular land, and they form what we call chiefdom. Now, it is through those chiefdoms that fundamentals such as kinship, principles, values are shared. Furthermore, each family unit within that chiefdom is part of an extended family, meaning that there are more than two parental or adult figures contributing to the upbringing of a child's life. And so, community to me is connectedness, and it's also a sense of belonging. And if I can speak into how it's impacted my life, I think community has shaped my perspective. It's shaped my ideals, and it's also provided a wealth of. Nana spoke about some of the work that you guys are doing and some of the things that community can represent, meaning the movements that she was talking about, cancer wise, and the Black Lives Matter movement. Community, in that sense, it is progressive and it is relevant while upholding its purpose. So you can be a foreign student or somebody new in a new environment, and you can build a community there. You can get or newly married and new mom if that's the next step in your life, and there's a community that you surround yourself with that would help to contribute towards that. So community impacts you in the sense that it helps to anchor who you are as an individual.
Yes, thank you. I love that word anchor. I think it really has a strong impact on the way you used it. And I really loved when you talk about your culture. It helped me also understand from your point of view because I don't really have the culture that you have. So it was great to hear the perspective you brought. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
My next question is, how has the pandemic affected your community?
Okay, so since March of 2020, the Kingdom of Eswatini has been on a lockdown, meaning a nationwide lockdown, meaning that all businesses and things like that were closed except for essential services. So, of course, a lot of youth were hard hit by that. A lot of individuals were hard hit, and also schools were closed. And it was frustrating and already challenging situation because in the Kingdom of Eswatini, our youth unemployment rate was already standing. It was already, sorry, what was that?
You're good.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, I was hearing someone speaking. I thought it was you. Okay, so I said, I was saying that our youth unemployment rate was standing at 40%. Now, just to give you some context about that, our population is made up of 70% of people that are 35 years and younger. So when we have youth challenges, it really hits hard. But it's been awesome to see the youth standing up and doing something and trying to make the most of their circumstance. We've seen young people try and, go into entrepreneurship and using what they have to start businesses. We've seen young people and students from a local university
Okay, I'm here. I know, she is definitely much further on the globe than us. So maybe her signal just will come back in. So in the meantime, one thing that, she said a lot, and I hope everybody even grasps that, even from the African culture and the kingdom of Eswatini, right? She spoke about how the culture, the community, right, is so powerful, and there's different
Yeah.
levels to it. I don't know. Do you remember some of that? Like, can you? I was trying to catch it, but how much community plays a role to their development, even of their youth. And I've never thought about that. It really for us in North America, like being American, we may not look at that way. What do you think about that, Tamia?
Yes, I thought that was interesting as well. And she talked about the parental figures and the child figures. And I loved how she brought about community. It's not just the people around you, but it's just everyone. It's all of our people.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. How much of culturally, there's a difference in community, in that way, and just how powerful it really is. So I hope that I know she'll be back soon with just her signal. Another thing is she was saying, and I thought the question was about the pandemic and how it affected her community being in the kingdom of Eswatini, which is we know is in the South African area region. And she was saying, was it youth unemployment?
Yes.
Right, it was like 14%. But how they're saying now that the youth are standing up more,
Yes.
right, and starting with entrepreneurship. And I know, I mean, I'm sure, that we can see that on a lot of levels the same way, with using your creativity, which we'll be talking about more tomorrow. But then also, of course, with like the Black Lives Matter, getting out the vote, that youth are really, becoming much more active,
Yeah.
and activists, if you will, because of the pandemic and the situation that we're in. So it's great to hear that similarity, that synergy, even though we're worlds apart, if you will. But we're
Agreed.
similar.
Yes.
We're similar in that way. And when she was saying that, I thought about it also just culturally, because right. So here's something even community wise, is that culturally, so you of course were born here, but even thinking about your parents, which I know, right? So your mom is American, but your father is Haitian,
Yeah.
right? So if we can even take a minute, there's differences in those communities, right? And then there's some similarities, because I'm very similar. So I'm American, but my husband is Haitian, so my kids have those different communities, right, which are some same and some things are different. Can you think of anything as far as community and culturally that you experienced as a child, you can somewhat draw of and speak to in that regard culturally?
Um, Not really. I
No.
just remembered as a child just learning some Creole, but not nothing big.
Okay. Okay. Well, definitely the food.
Yes, yes.
I would say that, right? What's your favorite Haitian dish?
Um,
I'm putting her on the spot, y'all.
I have to say the rice.
All right.
Rice and beans with the
Right.
sauce.
Uh-huh. The bean sauce.
Yes, just any sauce, yeah.
The sauce. Gotta have sauce on the rice, right? So that's something, and I feel like even culture. Okay, so what's one thing? How about I can say culturally, how you have to greet your elders, you have to kiss them and hug them and greet them, right? Do you that well because you were brought up in that, maybe you don't see that that's like a difference where you might go to American families and that's not something that they do? Do you
That might be true because for a lot of family gatherings, I always make sure I speak to everyone and I hug everyone. It's the same too in our American culture, but it's not as enforced as it is.
Right, absolutely. Right, because if you don't speak to an elder in the Haitian culture, girl, who gonna hear about it, right?
Yeah.
So those are just some of the things I know. For Lile, she is back, but the fact that culturally, I think we underestimate the differences and the power of community, and the values, right, that we have as a community when it comes to our culture. And she was just speaking about that, so we're going to bring her back on up and she can continue that that topic.
Welcome back. We were on the question, how has the pandemic affected your community? If there were any last words you needed to say on that one.
Hi, thank you. I'm sorry, I got
It's
kicked out. I'm
okay.
not sure at what point.
What did you say?
Well, yes, I was just talking about the policies that were implemented that were helping to empower the youth and to put the power back into the youth's hands, which I thought was really lovely, and the youth standing up for themselves. And can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. It might be a slight delay.
It's always fun when it's live TV and we are on different continents. So I know that I heard Folile speaking about the youth standing up and giving the power back to the youth.
Yeah, so it was just about basically putting the power back into the youth's hands.
I just think it's a slight delay. That's probably why.
Okay. So I think, one thing about Folile, and you can hear it, we talked about a little bit about her bio, is bridging the gap between the youth and adults. So we know that this is something that, she really follows and watches and is really passionate about. So when she gave the statistic about youth unemployment being 14%, but I think she said the youth is about 70%. Is that right, Folile? Of your community? But I know that one thing about it is that the youth might be 70%, 60% of a community, but they are 100% of our future. You
Yes.
guys are the future, right, Folile?
Yes, that's true. The youth, they are.
You're good, I think.
I think it's because it's a delay, so she hears us later, and then that's why.
Her face is telling us all. They are 100% of the future, and I know that's what Folile is absolutely. And then we just lost her again, but this is something that even one of my mentors and coaches will say that all the time, that whatever percentage is in your community, in your world, for the youth, but understand that they are 100% of the future. And that's why having this conference and this platform for you guys to speak, to share, is really, really important, and get you comfortable with speaking and sharing, get you comfortable with using your voice, right? And developing your speaking and presenting yourself and the things that you are passionate about. That's what Blessed Girls Global is truly, truly about. So we're super excited. I'm happy for the relationships and for the community that we have developed and we will continue to develop moving forward. So this is absolutely, absolutely good stuff. I pray that Folile could come back, because she really has a wealth of experience and knowledge. I wanted her to share a little bit more about the human trafficking piece of it. And she's done some incredible, incredible work with raising awareness on all different contents to human trafficking. So preferably she'll be back soon and she could talk about that. Now, before we close, we'll bring back Folile to give closing remarks, but I want Aaliyah to come back up and talk a bit more about her project, working in Kenya, and what the overall goal is of that project, what led her there, all that good stuff. So I wanted her to just go a little bit more in depth about her project. And there was one other thing I watched, I think it was earlier in the week, or no, today's Monday, maybe it was last week, that they had their first ever Eagle Scout girl. Eagle Scout or something like that. So I don't know between the two of you guys if you heard that, but it's the first time, I don't even know in the years, the history of scouting, that they were just really talking about the equality and how girls now can become an Eagle Scout and get to the highest level in scouting. So I just wanted to shout that out. Look, I learned a little something, but hats off to you two amazing Girl Scouts. So I'm going to bring Aaliyah back on up, and she can talk more about her project and, more importantly, how people can support her moving forward. Aaliyah, how are you, dear?
I'm good. How are you? My community involvement has put me in many different places and given me many experiences, including my Girl Scout Gold Award project, which is taking place right now in Kenya, Africa. I'm getting a chance to expand my community by empowering young women and mothers, help them learn a trade, increase education, and build wealth for families. Currently, the Community Poultry Project is a project that I have started. I have a team over there, and they are my boots on the ground. They are my direct eyes and ears of what's happening as well. It will be sustained through education, food production, and solar energy. I chose this project to establish a relationship around the world, create a global impact, and to help me think outside the box. I plan on traveling there next summer, so it is out the way. If you would like to donate, please Cash App $, capital G, OLD, capital C, capital P, capital P.
Okay, I think I'm back. So Aaliyah, tell us, so the project is one more time, because I want to make sure, isn't there a specific dollar amount if they give, who it can, does it take $20, $40? Tell me again, an actual dollar amount, what you need, and who does it support? Is it a certain dollar amount? We could just give anything, but reality, you're asking is right. Is there like a certain amount of money that can help one girl, one village? Like, what does that look like? No.
No, we don't have a certain dollar amount.
So
Just
you'll take
$1 helps.
$1, $1,000.
Yes.
Okay. Well, make sure, I know if mom is watching, she can put that in the comments of the feed. That'll be great. So we can get those donations going for you. And so the poultry, tell me one more time. Is it actually, because poultry is chickens, right? So
Yes.
you supply chickens to the families? Is it one particular girl at a time? Or tell me just a little bit more about that.
So it's called the Community Poultry Project, and we are housing 500 chickens. They will be laying eggs, and I have a project liaison who will be taking the eggs and delivering them to the women, and they will be either getting the eggs and hatching them or getting the eggs and eating them, like cooking them. And when they have the chickens and they decide to hatch them, they can keep that business going by having that chicken hatch more eggs, and they can proceed with the process as well.
Awesome. So it really is a sustainable project, right? So by giving them this, then they can continue on one way or the other. So you're helping in poverty, hunger, which is really, really powerful, even as part of some of the sustainable goals for the UN. So this is incredible. And did you ever think one day you'll be doing work in Africa, like around the globe? At how old are you exactly? 15, 16?
I just turned 15.
Just turned 15. Man, listen, guys, give Aaliyah some hearts, give her some claps. I don't know, whatever you say. Show Aaliyah some love, but more importantly, get to the Cash App and send her some money. Help her to continue this poultry project in Kenya because she is absolutely doing some amazing things. And this is community. I mean, Aaliyah, think about it. Your community now is in Kenya. You have a project, a community in Kenya. How powerful is that? You rock, girl. You rock.
Very powerful.
So, I just want to just say thank you. I'm glad you were able to come back up and share that in detail. I know Mom put it in the comments. Let me make sure I put it on the screen, so they can help and be a blessing to your project as we move forward. Okay. So I'm gonna get back over. I'm gonna get out the way. And thank you again for discussing community, sharing this platform. And let me get Folile back up here. Let me get Tamia back up here. And I'm going to get out the way, and they're going to close this thing out strong.
Okay, welcome back. The next question I have is, what do you feel is missing from today's culture, and how can you tell, or what are the signs of this defect?
I think civility is a thing that is really lacking in our communities today. And you see that with the injustice that is happening, you see that with the disregard of so many issues, and you see it with things displayed such as arrogance, or lack of empathy, as you mentioned earlier. And a lot of our African culture is actually
Oh, boy. All right. She has a tremendous delay tonight. So I think what I'm going to do is have her come back on another night just to wrap it up and give her closing remarks. But I know she was saying civility. And that's definitely what this conference is about, is really missing. And she touched on something about arrogance.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We haven't heard that yet in the summit, even though we're day 2. But the arrogance, Tamia, do we see arrogant people in our country today?
Yes.
Yeah. We ain't gonna call no names, but they got a number, 45, but they got a number that they so I think that was really, really powerful. So we're gonna have Folile come back again, hopefully on another night, and she can share and close this out, and that would be great. So I want to just say that this was just a great night on community, right? And I don't know, what do you think about community now? Do you have a bigger view or vision of community after tonight?
Yes, like when I first thought of community, I think, okay, like the people around me, yes, it could be outer, but now I'm really dug deeper into the meaning of community, and that it's farther than what your mind can think. You really have to go out of the box in order to understand community.
Yeah. Think out the box, think bigger, and I think that's the one thing that it brings us closer together. Right. Now, here we are tonight. Even though we had some difficulty, but we were in the kingdom of Eswatini, right? We're going to be in South America tomorrow, but we still are community. We have women and men that are coming on this platform to share and to speak, because we are still the same community. We see the similarities and the struggles and the things that we are experiencing, and we are a community. And when we see it that way, then we can really talk about civility. We can come to having an understanding of one another, loving one another, appreciate one another, but still seeing and celebrating the differences. So it's really, really powerful. I think it was great. Love having Aaliyah on here and her project, the Poultry Project, and all that she's doing as a Girl Scout in her Gold Award. So we know there's certainly more to come from her. And we'll have Folile come back and talk more, because I definitely wanted her to speak to her community, because she is certainly someone that is an advocate and an activist in regards to youth and the current culture and community. It looks like she's changed rooms, so maybe that's better. Hello, Folile, are you back?
Hello, hi guys. I'm so sorry, these technical difficulties. Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
It's all right. We're going to clear these lines and break you through tonight. And I'm going to have you give your closing, the last question with Tamia. And you can send us off tonight. Cindy, you back on. You coming through strong, all right? So close us out strong for Lile, okay?
All right, no problem. I will.
So for the final question, how can we bridge the gap and learn from each other?
I think the best way to do that is to have an open and an honest communication between the youth and between the adults. The misconceptions that we have amongst one another can really be resolved if we just sit down and we talk to one another, and as well realize that we're working towards common goal, that the generational dynamics, they don't represent separation. It's not an us against them type of mentality that will build strong communities, that will build strong generational relationships. So, whatever misconception that adults have towards youth and whatever misconceptions that youth have towards adults, if we can keep an open line of communication and realize where we were getting it wrong. I was going to make an example of something like education. When you have a scenario whereby a child is more educated than the parent, there are
Mhm.
misconceptions and frictions that happen between the two. Maybe the child is suggesting, hey, we can try doing this thing this particular way, and the adult will be like, oh, so now you know everything. Now you want to tell me what to do. I've been doing this and it's been working. And likewise, when the youth is maybe talking about their plans and their goals, and the adult is trying to give advice and guidance, the youth is like, okay, you don't know anything. I'm talking another level, another digital thing here. So anything can be ironed out as long as we have open communication and we understand that we are working towards common goals.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And we even talked about that last night, how communication is key. And I loved your point on misconceptions of things, for like how
Yes,
the child can be smarter than the adult, because now the curriculum in school is so different, and the way we're just learning things and the way the new generation is being brought upon, we might not have that same understanding as our parents. And our parents have been through a different generation, so they might not able to understand us. So I just love how communication is always the answer, and just to understand each other.
definitely. And for us to also recognize where we misunderstand each other. Like I think one of the biggest misconceptions that adults have about the youth is that the youth lack morals, the youth lack principles. And this is because there's popular youth culture that's wrapped around celebrity lifestyles and social media and entitlement. But that's just popular youth culture. It's not really a predominant youth mentality per se. So when I think that every youth is like the popular youth culture, of course, my next reaction is going to be whatever the youth do, it's immoral. So you say to me, oh, I want to move to the next city and do something. And I'm like, oh, you just want to be wild and, get as far away as you can from any kind of authority or parental figure. But that's not necessarily the case. And it's an interesting friction and it's an interesting dynamic because, likewise, on the youth side, they misunderstand the adults as not being able to interpret the times because adults are not on all the platforms, adults are not on the beat with what's happening technologically, on the beat with the new advancements and the new developments. And they feel like, okay, this person was relevant for a moment, but I don't think in this particular space I have a place for them or I have a need to listen to them. And those are misconceptions on both sides. We can work together. We can truly listen to each other. We can build, like we're saying, effective communication. Where there is none, we build communication. And where it is ineffective, we work on it until we get it to a place where we are in cohesion.
Yes, thank you so much. You made great points. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Thank you for having me and being patient with my technical difficulties.
Of course.
This was so good. We pushed through. We don't give up.
Yes.
We keep fighting.
We did it.
Able to come back. You might have to move around, do other things. Felilia, are you still there? It looks like she made it just enough to answer your question tonight. Thank God that she was able to do that. I see Mom West is chiming in. Mom's that's your mom. That's my girl Tara. She said absolutely. Open communication is absolutely key. Is really, really key. So I'm glad the 2 nights we have our takeaways is really about communication. The other Mom West, Ramonda, says communication is key, and it's really interesting the synergy. We had no idea that we're coming back talking about community, talking about civility, and we're still talking about communication, being able to come back to the table and have a conversation you know, a dialogue. We are women of dialogue, and I'm so happy that this is something that really came through on tonight. So this was great. I thank you, Tamia. You are
Thank
so
you.
fabulous.
Thank you.
You're getting pro with this, sis. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna figure something out. But you certainly rocked it out tonight. You went through all the ups and downs of the technology. It was great to see you and Aaliyah on the screen, sharing and chatting it up. She was awesome, awesome. You know, I'm gonna make sure I put up the website for Aaliyah's outreach project. All right, so it's there, and I know we had our Cash App, so that'll show throughout. But definitely inbox me, let me know. I think we can actually put some of her information on our website. But just some closing remarks from you, Tamia. Any takeaway nuggets that you want to share before we let you go tonight?
I just wanted to say how it was really inspiring and amazing how we had 2 different nights, 2 different topics, but it all came to one conclusion on communication. And that sends a strong message, meaning that communication really is a problem now and that we really need to address it and talk about it more. So if we're able to hear it from 2 different perspectives on 2 different nights, it just sets a really strong tone and meaning on how everything goes.
Indeed, indeed. And you were absolutely incredible. So I am happy to have you. I am honored to have you as a blessed girl, as a leader, and you know your openness in your heart to say yes to opportunity. I know Dr. A will pet you on some stuff. I know you'll be like, what am I doing now? But your willingness and your openness to trust the process, to be involved, is so key. So I thank you, and I appreciate you for being a moderator, being a co-host with me tonight, and you could finally get off the screen now. But your
And
lip
thank you. Thank you
is
for the opportunity as well.
indeed, indeed. Appreciate you so much. I'm going to bring Aaliyah right back up one just to give her closing remarks. And maybe if she has any takeaways, any key things that you got from tonight, Aaliyah, I'll let you have your closing remarks.
I just want to say thank you for having me. And I learned a lot more about communication and what community truly means.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And we appreciate you. We applaud you. And thank you for your yes, because I know Dr. Nana have y'all doing some stuff, but you also gave me a yes tonight. You got out of your comfort zone a little bit more. And I'm sure that the world is super excited to hear you, to see you, and of course to contribute to your project and to all the great things. And of course, once the world opens up, you'll be over in Kenya and keep moving this thing forward. So thank you for your leadership, and we already celebrate your gold award because we know it's already done. So thank you, Aaliyah. Have a great night and an awesome finish of this school year 2020 as you continue on with all of your endeavors. So we appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm just going to see some of the comments here. Yes, they said great job to Mia on hosting. I promise you guys, this does my heart so good. I love to celebrate, to put the spotlight on these girls because they are doing some incredible things. And honestly, the mainstream media is not going to do it. They will show our girls twerking and whatever else they be doing and all the other craziness, fighting and cussing and looking crazy. But we have to really be the ones to show, you know, and to be the example and to highlight the greatness that is inside of our youth. And I'm so honored and I'm grateful for Blessed Girls. I'm so honored for the opportunity to have these type of platforms where our girls' voices can be heard, their intelligence, their passion can be highlighted and showcased for the world to see. Platform, you share this conference because you just never know who's watching. You never know what young lady is watching and is not feeling her best, is not feeling down. She needs a community. And I say, make sure that you can go to blessedgirls.com, say connect. I want to join. We are certainly here for you. And just, of course, make sure that we keep this going. So tonight is just night 2. Tomorrow, we will be back. We will be back, and we are talking about creativity. I am bringing some creative girls, creative